Okay, I reviewed this, and like I say, not all ceiling fans are created equal, and I'm glad I read the directions on here, because it says your ceiling fan should not be lower than 7 feet from the ground up. Also should not be 30 inches away. It has to be more than 30 inches away from anything. Okay, that was something I didn't really know. Okay, and the handheld remote, I'll talk to you about that later, but on the other one, on the other ceiling fan I just installed, I had to sync up a code on inside the handheld remote, as well as the sensor. Too. I had to take the back, there was a little compartment, I had to do some little things on there. This one, I don't think I have to do anything, or the handheld remote. Just put the battery in the handheld remote. And I'll, like I say, I'll talk about that later. And this was the mounting bracket, has the assembly on the side, and you see there'll be 2 screws on the side, and this one has a little notch up there. So what you do is you take the one of these screws off on both sides. Okay, and I've got it loose, and then this just slides over and comes down. So when I get ready to put it up, you see that little notch there? Got one, and so these 2 screws, there'll be 2 screws on both sides that connect it, but you leave 1 screw on both. And so when I get ready to install the trim, I'll push it up and get it lined up to this, and then I can swivel it, just push it over like that, tighten that up, tighten the other side up on the other side, and then the other 2 screws will be lined up exactly where I need them. Okay, so I'll have to remember that. This one looks slightly different than the last one I put up, but pretty much the same. And it showed that the ceiling fan blades are going to be installed after I lift this whole thing up, which means I'm going to be putting this knuckle, I call this the knuckle, and the extension rod. I'm going to be putting this in here, okay, before I have to install the fan blades. Most ceiling fans, you install the fan blades kind of after you install the motor, but not the last 2 ceiling fans I just did. Okay, and so I'm gonna get ready for that. I've got I see there's a black, white, and blue wire coming up from the ceiling fan, and that's normally what you'll see. Okay, and the black and white is for power. The black one's the hot, the white is the neutral, and the blue is generally for a light. Even your old ceiling fans, the blue was for a light kit that you could install later. This one happens to have the light kit included in the ceiling fan, and lots of ceiling fans have a light installed on it, an LED style. It gives you all kinds of benefits to do that. You might want to look for that type. And see how long this is? This is designed, and my extension is only yay long. Well, it's designed in case you need to install it in a higher ceiling, a cathedral ceiling, or something like that, and maybe you want a longer extension rod. Okay, and they'll have extra ones at the store. And incidentally, if you want to get an extension rod, a longer one, look at the outside of this box, whatever ceiling fan you get, and it will kind of give you ideas about the height that you need and all that. Okay, and if you're going to get an extension rod, make sure you pull this open, you get this out of the box. Okay, tell a salesperson, hey, I'm going to buy this ceiling fan, but I need to get it open. You can open it for me. That's fine. And I need to get a longer extension. And most hardware stores nowadays have the longer extensions in different sizes, different colors. I can't tell you how many colors they have, but for a silver, you might think, it's just a silver. Well, they'll have at least 4 different colors of silver. And they might have 2 different diameters of this. And see, this one here does not have any threads on it. The last one I did had threads on here. This one doesn't have any threads on it. You see what I mean? And so at the store, you want to get like for like. Okay? So I'm going to be installing this one. This just happens to be the ground wire. It's just kind of pushed in there at an angle. Okay. And before I put that on, well, there's a little cotter pin here. I call that a cotter pin. I'm going to pull that out and see it just goes in nice and easy. See? It's like that. All right, do not lose this. And then this just slides out. See, it's got the little hole in there for the cotter pin. And that just slides out, okay? We gotta get that out of our way. All right. And now I have to kind of think about this. I don't want to just put this on yet. There'll be some set screws. There's 2 little set screws on the side of here that I'm just going to loosen up. And see, that's the other reason why I like to leave this in the styrofoam box, because that is holding this stationary, because I want this to come straight up. I'm going to eyeball it as best I can. You don't want it coming up slightly crooked, because that could make your fan wobble. Okay? So now I gotta really think about this. See, this is going to go up kind of like that, but it's also got this housing that's going to cover that. Okay, so I've got to decide, when does that go on? Does it go on like that? And I think it does. Man, it doesn't give me very much room, does it? Look at that. It doesn't give me hardly any room to then take that, and I'm pretty sure on this one, that's all I have to do. But mind you, when it pokes down, this is going to stick up a little bit, but not very much, is it? Okay. And we have 10-foot ceilings. I could have gotten an extension, a 12-inch extension, let's say. I could have, but the other ones at our house, they're all up high, and it's like, okay, whatever. They're up high. And let's see. Oh man, this one is different, because normally I'd have to take the knuckle out and mess around with the rod in there. I don't think this one I have to do any of that. So now I've got to push that down in there. And I'm looking at that. Oh, okay. Boy, it really doesn't give me much room at all, does it? Okay, undo these screws a little bit more. And you know, I guess I could have taken this out at the top, and then lifted it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do that. Okay. Maybe I should. This one works slightly different. And I've got to look at it myself to see what the dealio is here. Okay. To see if I can make this a little bit easier so you can see it. I don't know how much more you're actually going to see with this out of there. But I guess I could. Okay. I got to remember how to put that back on, because see, now I can take that knuckle off and I can take this off. Okay. So now I only have this on here, and see, now I can actually have that off. All right. I guess maybe that's the best way to do it, right? Because now I can put this cotter pin in, and I have to kind of move the wire around, because see, the wire, I have to push this from here all the way through. So I'm going to have to kind of monkey around with this little. Okay, there it is. Okay. And I can swivel it because the motor's turning. Does that make sense? Okay. And I told you to read the directions, and I didn't even really see that, but see, now I'm pushing that on there. Okay. Okay. See how wobbly this is? And that's all you're going to have. Can you see that now I have to tighten up these two screws, these two set screws, and I want this up as straight as I can get it. And I'm going to do that by tightening these screws on both sides, and I want about the same amount left. If I got about a 3/16, I want about 3/16 over here, and then I want to kind of look at that and see if that looks pretty straight. I couldn't really do that if this isn't in the styrofoam box. You know what I mean? Okay. So now I'm gonna tighten that up a little, tighten this up a little bit. Look at the amount. And theory has it, if this one's an 1/8, this one should be an 1/8. Or if this is 3/16, this one should be 3/16. And already it looks like I need to back this one off a little bit. Just a little. These are the only two screws that are going to keep this shaft from moving around and from wobbling. Can you see that? And it's weird. Right now, it's still, to me, it looks crooked. So I may have to loosen that one up and tighten that side just a little bit more. And I guess I could do this, and it still, to me, it still doesn't look like it's perfectly straight. And isn't that weird? I wish they would have 3 of these screws so that you could do it, but they don't. They just have 2. Okay, and that's pushing all this over kind of that way. I think. Maybe not. Let's try this another way. I'm going to try to hold it up straight and see. See, just by doing that, I can see it's cranking over that way. More so than I want. So it's gonna be kind of a fine line, so to speak. And you're just going to have to do the best you can. If it's slightly off, I mean, you can only do as much as you're able, right? And then once the knuckle's in there, it's going to set straight. Okay. Now, those screws have a slot to put a standard screwdriver in there. And I can take that just a hair tighter than I can the Phillips. Okay. I don't want to overdo it because I could strip it, or I could even break the head. I could twist the head right off. I've seen it happen before. Okay, so I got it pretty snug. Okay, you see there? So far, so good, right? You think you can do that? I'm looking up here, looking down. It looks pretty straight. See, I wouldn't have wanted to tighten one too much before the other and go back and forth. Now, some ceiling fans, this rod has threads on it, and then you thread it onto this down far enough to fish this through, and then they still give you the side screws to depress into the threads a little bit, just for friction, and hold it. And basically, you're just holding the same way like that. Okay? All right. Let's get on to the next bit. Can you believe that? I got 1 minute left on my SIM card of this whole thing. I thought I'd had plenty of time, but hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Remember that.